Okay.
So let's go ahead and touch base on the properties that were able to go ahead and put under contract, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
be asking you a few questions, right? Really basic.
Okay.
So I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how it was so we can make it a success goal regarding those two properties. So let's talk about the first one. So what
Sure.
was the deal size?
So the first one, it's a vacant lot, and
Mm-hmm.
we got it under contract for $8,250.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be able to sell that one around. We have it out for 19,000 now. We'll probably be
Oh,
able to
that's
sell
great.
it. Yeah, we're
So,
probably gonna be able to sell it for around 15.
so that's going to be a revenue of 15,000, right?
About well, the difference between 8 and 19, about 11,000.
Okay, great. So we're talking about a vacant lot. That's great. Never heard that before from other clients. What was the motivation of the seller rather than having it taken? Why they wanted to go ahead and sell it and not keep it?
Um, okay, here we go. I just found the let me pull up my notes here. She was paying taxes on it. The
Mm-hmm.
taxes are due, and she tried to sell it through a realtor, and they were unable to sell it. When I took a look at it, I think they were trying to sell it for like 25 or $35,000, and they just weren't able to.
Oh, that's
So,
true.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
typical.
so it was overpriced, and because
Mm-hmm.
it was overpriced when she was trying to originally sell it, they couldn't move it, so that left a bad taste in her mouth.
All right. Good to know that, man. Now, how long did it took you to close this lead? A day, two
Uh,
days?
from the moment she came in to the
Mm-hmm.
moment we got it on the contract, about an hour.
An hour.
The
One
lead
hour to
came in.
close it.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So the lead came in at 7:31. I think I was on the phone with her by 7:35, and by 8:29, uh,
Mm-hmm.
we had it under contract. So I had a 42-minute call with her.
Yeah.
It took her through my whole entire sales process. And that was that.
So what exit strategies you did in those terms?
Well, it's gonna be a wholesale deal. It's gonna be a
It was
wholesale
gonna
deal.
be
So it's just a cash offer for her vacant lot.
okay. So you did a cash offer, right?
Yep.
1 hour. Never heard that before also.
Yeah,
It's amazing, man.
it's gonna be a pretty good story if like
It
once we
is.
close it, that's gonna be, like you never know until you close. Like I don't get too excited about these deals until like, okay, we find a buyer, their earnest money deposit is in. That's when I start getting excited. That's when I start, and even then,
Yeah,
I don't even count my money until like we get to the closing day. So,
exactly.
but that it makes for a pretty interesting story. 7:30 p.m. at night, your ads are
Yeah.
running, and I'm home cooking.
Yeah, you're not doing anything.
And I'm like, okay,
So
stop what you're doing, Watson. Let's get on the phones.
yeah, that's the deal. That's the deal. That's right. So I'm assuming that this was totally closed over the phone, right?
Yeah, 100% over the phone.
100%.
Yeah, it's a vacant lot. I mean, and she already had pictures of it online when she
Which
was
market was
previously.
it?
Excuse me.
Which market was it?
This is in Philly, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. All right. So not too hard to lock it up, I'm assuming. So you told me that you're gonna do wholesale with with this vacant lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No other exit strategies that you can see that you can know how to do with this, right?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, you could probably sell or finance it for real.
But now you're
Eh,
not gonna get that revenue from it rather
Yes,
than from a wholesale.
yeah.
I can tell.
It's not going to be the
Now,
same.
this is a vacant lot. So how did this make? Oh, I think this one question that you answer me will answer this one. How did this deal make sense for you guys, or like how the numbers make sense to break down the deal with this person, with this seller? Due to the
Well,
context of their problem by selling it through a realtor, or how did this make sense for you guys?
it made sense for her because of her frustration with dealing with a realtor who just failed to communicate with her. And and now she was really paying the price of the taxes. Now, the reason why it made sense for me, because originally when I got on the phone and I found out it was a vacant lot, I was like, oh, it's probably not a deal. But because when there's a structure on a property, if it becomes a vacant lot, that means somebody tore it down. So if she tore down the property herself, fine, she paid for that. But if the city tears down the property due to it having some sort of structural issues, or it's dangerous in one way, shape, or form, if the city tears it down, then they put a lien on the property. But what ended up happening is that they tore it down, they put a lien on it, she went to court, and then she won. So that $16,000 lien is no longer there. And the only thing she owes, this is what she tells me, the only thing she owes is the taxes. So I'm like, oh, the value of the lot is around 15,000. I'm trying to sell it for 19. I'm pretty sure I'm going to sell it for 15. But typically when the property gets demolished by the city, there's a 16 to $20,000 lien. So the
Yeah.
moment I hear vacant lot, I'm like, this deal is blown up, because the lot's value, or what the lien is, typically is more than what the value of the lot is. But she took care of it. So,
Okay. All right.
so we're
That's
good.
great. All right. So now let's touch base over the second property. All
Yeah.
right.
Two in one
What was
week.
what?
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's amazing. That's
Back
amazing.
to
I
back
told
too.
you.
I got
That's
we
amazing.
locked up the vacant lot on Tuesday, and then we locked up the this other property in Malvern last night.
That's great. That's great. I told you. It's upon how you're gonna go out and follow up on this. It
Yeah.
happens. It happens.
Mhm.
What was the deal size in this
This one is seems to be it's going to be pretty significant. This one's going to be about a 44, $45,000 assignment
one?
fee.
Oh my God, that's great. So the revenue you're trying to get it will be from
Altogether
this
about
one,
40, let's call it 45,000. Yeah, 45,000.
45,000. And for how much did you guys bought it?
So we acquired it for 400,000.
400,000
Yeah.
acquired. Okay. This is a good revenue. I could tell. Really
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, we acquired
What
it for
was the
400.
motivation for selling here from the seller?
The real motivation is to be closer to his kids in North Carolina. Taking them through
So
the
that's
sales process, I uncovered that, his mom, his dad, and his aunt all passed away within the 3-month period. And he
mm,
also had another 13 close friends pass away all this year in 2024. And with his kids and grandkids being in North Carolina, he just wants to be closer to them. He really injured his leg. He could barely walk, and he's in like the trades. So he does contractor
no,
type of work. And the house is so big. The house is too big. He's away from his family. He's by himself. His girlfriend lives in Delaware. His family lives in North Carolina. His dog is 14 years old and is about to pass away.
man,
And he's like, it's about time for me. If I don't make a change now, I'm just gonna die without my dog and alone in this house.
what a
So
bad thing, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's pretty relocating due to all life purposes. I can tell.
yeah. So
Well, that's life. I can tell. This one,
now and go ahead. Because
no,
if
no,
I, if
no.
I if I start talking about
That's
that, I'm like, I'm never
all
gonna
of a
stop him.
story. All of a story. I can tell. No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no.
it's it's a heck of a story.
So, how long did it took you to close this one? Like to put it under contract? Like a day or two?
This
I can tell.
this lead came in December 8th, and we
Mm-hmm.
closed it yesterday, December 11th, right? So we locked
That's
it up
for
December. So a week, 1 week,
1 week. That was fast
one
also.
week even.
Now, what strategies that you used for this one?
This is gonna be cash.
So
Mhm.
also cash.
Yep,
So that's cash offer, right?
cash offer.
Now, the sales process that you used during the discovery call up onto the closing conversation, was it difficult? Do you consider due to the situation of the seller, do you think it was a difficult property to go out and close?
No, not at all. I mean, I use Jeremy Miner's NEPQ sales process, right? So I'm a part of his mentorship program. So my sales process is pretty dialed in. I mean, I'm not a
Great.
master at the script and the sales process, but
Mm-hmm.
it really helps me uncover his needs and his ideal situation. So the big philosophy within the NEPQ protocol so to speak, is creating that gap between where they are and where they want to be, what their problem
Mm,
is, that problem awareness, and their solution awareness, and to have them understand where they are right now and have them viscerally feel that, and then have my solution, which is our offer, be the thing that takes them to where they want to be. So, within the sales process, um, it wasn't difficult. He was very conversational. He was very open. He didn't hide too much, and the conversation flowed pretty well. It just took a few calls for me to uncover um, what his real motivation was. The moment he mentioned that, he just wants to be closer to his kids, and then his parents and aunt had passed away, and that's what really this is all about, and he was the one that said to me, I knew we were going to get the deal on the contract when he said to me, Watson, you only have one life to live. At the end of the day, you can't take this all with you, so there's nothing more important than being close to my family, especially because I lost them. And I'm like, cool, let's go.
so you did something that we call, or I can say, the desire state. You try to go
Yeah,
ahead and understand really what was their desire at the moment and what's the desire they want to have later, right? Where
yeah,
they
yeah,
where they're
yeah.
at and where they want to be, right?
Exactly,
So that helped you a
exactly,
lot.
exactly.
That helped you a lot, man. That's great. That's great to know that you're doing that. A lot of people
Mhm.
need to learn how to do that because that's gonna help them a lot. I can tell. So this was closed over the phone, right?
Yeah, this one was also closed over the phone.
Totally over the
I
phone. Same
totally over
market,
the phone. Malvern, Pennsylvania. Same that
Malvern.
like the suburbs of Philadelphia, suburbs of Philadelphia.
Okay. Okay. No, you said it was not so hard to lock it up, right?
Um, he did have it with a realtor. He had it listed with a realtor friend that
Oh, it
he's
was a listed property.
yeah. But he knew the realtor since he was 9. And I even asked, like, what's gonna happen with your realtor if you take our offer? He's like, oh, I've known him forever, so it's not gonna be a big deal for him to like, um cancel that agreement. So it wasn't like the hardest negotiation that I ever had to go to. I think this is just the benefit of getting inbound leads, people who raise their hand and say, "Hey, I'm looking to, sell my home." It's just the conversation is just completely different because they're coming to you for a need as opposed to you coming to them.
Okay, that's great, man. Nice to know that. So you're gonna go what? Wholesale this, right?
Yeah.
Also a wholesale, right? And what you told me on the beginning, you anticipate 40K out of those 400 that you acquired, right?
Yeah, 45 grand, yeah. This would be the biggest deal that I've ever, this biggest wholesale deal that I've done. I've done a 30
Well, let's
$39,000
let's make more.
deal.
Let's try to make more. Why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did a 39 grand deal earlier this year, and this one would be 45. This will be the biggest one I've done.
That's great. That's great to hear. That is great to hear. How did it make sense for you, the numbers? Due to the
Um,
situation, back again to the same question I asked before.
yeah, yeah. The reason this made sense for me is because we saw a couple of comparable properties for really distressed homes that sold for around 480, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the rental market, based on what I see, I think I might not be correct here, but based on what I saw, so there's not really a huge rental market for this type of property. So it'd be somebody who would come in. I want to really price it in a way for an investor to come in, sweep the floor, put it right back on the market. Because he had it listed for 575, then 550, and then I got it on a contract for 404, 500,
Got
right?
it.
So the goal is to sell it for 450 so that an investor can come in, close on it, and then sell it for around 500. I really think it's worth around 500. That's why the numbers made sense for me. The reason why it made sense for him, obviously, is because he wants to be closer to his family in North Carolina. And I think I he took a liking to me, as far as like understanding me, being able to understand his situation, not being pushy. And the one thing that I did that he told me no one else did was just do the math, right? He had a $152,000 mortgage, a $51,000 solar panel balance, a balance to pay off his solar panels, and he wanted
Yeah.
to put $80,000 down for a new condo in Delaware. Well, that's $283,000,
Yeah, it's
right?
a lot of money. Yeah.
That's what he needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we started having a conversation based on his needs and that how those needs would be met and take him to his result, the whole $550,000 price point just went away. Because if I when I offered him 400,000 and I asked, "Do you think that this could be the answer for you?" He was like, "Yeah. Not only am I going to accomplish all of my goals, I'm now going to have over $100,000 in my pocket to continue and move on with my life." So at that point, he's now thinking of the new condo, being closer to his family, instead of
Yeah,
thinking about
all the benefits.
selling the house for what it's quote unquote worth, because it's not worth 550. It was worth, if it was worth 550, somebody would have bought it already,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
So what really
that's
mattered
what
here for him, it's like the benefit, the convenience for him.
that's really what it is, and that's what it's all about. And plus, I did a little something to like sweeten the pot. So
Yeah.
I thought for a second I wasn't gonna get the deal because he told me when I originally made the offer, he said, "Oh, I got to think about it. Oh, I got to take my dog to the vet because my dog is 14 years old, and I think I might have to put him down today." And I'm
Ooh,
like,
no,
"Please,
this cannot be happening.
doggy, stay alive, because if you die, the deal goes with you." So I'm
Oh
like,
my
this
God.
dog has to stay alive. So thankfully, when I followed
Man,
up with him,
what a story.
right? When I followed up with him, the dog was still alive and I was grateful. And then what I ended up doing, I went on Amazon and I bought these senior citizen multivitamin doggy treats.
Yeah.
And I sent it to him.
You
So
did?
I did. So yesterday when I was getting the
Oh
deal in the
my
con,
God.
no lie, no lie. I did because I'm like, listen, this dog has to stay alive. And of
Let me
course,
help you with the dog also.
yeah. And of course, it's a way to build goodwill. It demonstrates that I understand
Man,
his situation outside of just me trying to make money on his house. So and even after he signed the contract, he was like, "Did you get it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, and by the way, Kara loves the treats. Like she's a very picky eater, and thank you so much for them." And I'm like, "That's exactly what it's all about."
that's
You
part
know,
of the game, you know?
that's
That's part
that's
of the
part of the
game.
game.
You
That's
need to
part of
do
the game.
everything that you can do for someone when you, no matter what you're doing on sales, because you're doing sales.
Yeah.
You have to go ahead and try to, it's not just a, that's part of a report. That's a type of report that you create, different from the verbal one,
A
right?
hundred, 100%.
But that's so
100%.
cool. It's so funny. It's both properties where like there's something funny in it. Like something
Oh,
funny
bro,
happened.
you don't even know. Like yesterday, last night at 9:45, we got a lead from Hesel Media. The first name of the person is random. And that's
Hmm.
their first name. First name random, last name person, right? At
Hmm.
9:45, somebody with the first name random, last name person. You know what I did at 9:45? And I called him. I'm like, "You're gonna troll me. I'm gonna troll you back." But it actually ended up being a real seller. But yeah,
There you
every
go.
single day is something
It
crazy.
happens. It happens. You cannot control what people want to disclose, right?
Yeah.
You
And
can
she
find
actually had
out.
motivation.
The only way you can find out is by calling them, right? Just because they have the name random person, it doesn't mean, oh, this is a spam lead, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna call
I
him.
called.
I'm gonna
I
call him.
called
Yeah.
right away. I called within 3 minutes, and we had a 30-minute conversation about her property. She just wants to way too much for it, but I'm gonna follow up with her anyway.
Not a problem, man. That's the attitude. That's the attitude. One last question regarding this. What will be your advice to all different type of investors that are starting to do digital marketing over social media? With your experience so far, what will you tell them?
I mean,
What's the
it's
secret?
just this real secret is having a sales process. Um, and 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 with these inbound leads, the benefit that you get is that they have a genuine desire and interest in what you have to offer. At this
Mm-hmm.
point, you just have to create that gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just
Mm-hmm.
on the marketing side. If you're going to be doing inbound leads and people are going to be raising their hands, asking you to help them solve their problems, you need to have a framework to take them through in order to help them identify what their problem is, and then solve it through what you have to offer. So it's really, I mean, I would encourage everybody to like follow Jeremy Miner, all of his free stuff in his ads. That's stuff that you could use right away. So like just building that gap between where they are and where, they want to be, and let them see that for themselves and live in that gap, and then make your offer accordingly. And of course, follow like basic negotiation, be empathetic, be patient. I mean, I, I one call closed the lady with a lot, but with this property here where we're anticipating making 45 grand, we already assigned the lead, right? We already have a investor on on it, and the key there is just to follow up like you normally would. This took like how many calls? Let me see. Like one, two,
Like
three,
what? Like
four,
I
five,
can tell.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A total of 11 calls between the first time I reached out and today. I would say 10 calls, simply because today's call was really more for me to tell him about the process of how we're going to get to
Mm-hmm.
closing. The deal was already in the contract. But looking at this now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 calls. Actually 12 calls total.
You did it, bro. You did it. You did what has to be done. Follow up on this. So I appreciate you doing that because that helped you. By the way, the
Yeah.
treat of the dog is the funniest thing I've ever heard. But you
I,
have that. Well, at least the poor dog will live more.
that dog needs to live. That dog can't die until we settle. After
That's a fact.
closing, all dogs will go to heaven. Please go to heaven January 1st, because our closing date is December 31st.
That's funny, man. I've never heard something like that. Trust me, never.
Yeah,
But that
yeah.
help
But
you. That help you.
you know what? That's the difference. I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but this is the opportunity that everybody has. That's the difference that you can make. That's the difference between me and a realtor who just put their house on the market and hope somebody can come by and
Not
make an
only you
offer.
and a realtor, not only you and a realtor, you and so many people that don't understand that it's not just about talking with some seller, right? And saying, okay, how much do you want me to give you? That's it.
Yeah,
Okay, I want this. Oh, no, that's too much for me. I can do this. And that's it. That's the end of a call. That's not only the difference. That's the difference between you and a lot of people that cannot understand, or they don't know that a sales process is more than just talking to someone, creating rapport, and just going through the number and running comps.
that's
It's
it.
more than that. It's
It's
more
way
than
more
that.
than that. It's way more than that. And I think I'll always have the advantage because I'm going to take that approach. I mean, it's not it's a
That's great.
longer approach. It requires more brain cells. It requires more emotional empathy,
Yeah.
right? So it's more work internally to like slow down. And when you hear somebody like when you hear somebody like, "Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to move," for you to slow down and say, "You're not ready yet." Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
we
It
don't
doesn't mean
know,
you're ready.
we didn't build enough gap yet, right?
Exactly.
So some people will say, like when he got on the phone, it was very clear that he wanted to sell, and I could have made him an offer right then and there. As a matter of fact, when I told him, hey, look, what if I go back to my finance department and they say that, we'll give you $400,000 for the house? Like, should I just tell them just to, kick rocks and forget about everything, or what do you think that we should do? And then he was just like, I'm not taking $400,000, Watson. And he signed the
Uh-huh.
contract for $404,500, right?
You see, it's like
Because you
this
take when you take them through that sales process, you create enough gap.
when you have that enough
It
gap
makes
is where you
sense.
can touch base on numbers, I believe.
Yeah,
You have
exactly,
the
exactly.
enough confidence from the seller that you can definitely say, I'm gonna give you this, and that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Because you already
yeah.
gained their trust. So that's great, man.
Hmm.
I give
Thank
you
you,
two
thank you. I appreciate
applauses
it.
and a third one for the dog treat.
I'm telling
That
you,
was amazing.
I know it makes a difference. I know for sure it makes a difference.
It did. It did. Brother, this is gonna be the ending of our success call. We're gonna pass
Okay,
by now to our regular check-in. I'm gonna ask you a
okay,
favor also. I'm gonna send you a link over the Zoom chat, and I want you to write a review from us. If you can do it over the call, don't show me.
sure.
Make sure don't tell I suck, right? Because
Um,
I'm gonna be out of here. If you can
Let's
kindly
see.
give us a
How do I?
review, just click the link. It's going to pop up on Google and you can write it
Oh,
down on the right hand side.
oh, review. Okay, I see it.
Yeah. Make it wordy, make it a nice review, make
Okay.
it beautiful, nice.
Hmm.
How you did with the sellers as you treat the dog the seller's dog. Make the review.
I'm telling you, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna. I mean, like maybe the top 1%
Do
of all
you wanna
salespeople
do
are
you
even
wanna
gonna
hear
think
something?
about that.
I'll do that. I'm that type of person. I'll do that.
Y-
That's why I like that what you did.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. I've never heard something like that. You're gonna that this call is gonna be something in Hesel Media. I'm telling you that. Man, if you close two in a week,
Yeah.
what is gonna happen in the next? Goodness gracious, man. I'm looking forward for
And we just
more.
got to get them to the settlement table. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
so the reason why I joined Hustle Media is so that I can get consistent leads and get that deal flow because there's so many other things outside of like getting the lead and getting it on a contract that I'm like creating systems and processes for. I'm really I feel bad because I feel like I'm beating up my admin on like really being diligent and accurate with how we handle our deals that we get under contract because I am anticipating that through Hustle Media that we're going to get good deal flow, we're going to get deals under contract and we're going to move things forward. But the reason why, like I'm here is because there's going to be a lot of things I don't have to think about, a lot of things I don't have to do, a lot of things I don't have to manage to get those leads. I don't have to do the creatives. I don't have to manage the Google Ads account. I don't have to update, the CRM when it comes to doing drip campaigns and sending text messages. There's
Yeah.
ISAs that are available to reach out to the customers that are going to at least leave voice messages, right? Like there's a whole side of the business that I don't have to manage actively, and it's
Mhm.
and it's making it work.